Welcome to Taste the Bickle, everyone.
Hey guys, today I am making collard greens and saltfish with some fried dumplings. Stay tuned. So for this dish, I will be using the following seasoning: some red, green, yellow bell peppers, a large onion, some scallion, some thyme, Scotch bonnet pepper, salt, cracked black pepper, some fresh garlic, onion powder, garlic powder, and some other spices to flavor my dish. I will be adding some fresh saltfish, which I had soaking overnight, changed the water twice to remove the excess salt, and of course the main lady is the collard greens. Look at that. Delicious, right? So first, what you want to do when you're making collard greens, you want to chop it up and also remove the stem down the middle. It's a little bit hard and it's kind of chalky, tough, so I don't like that in my greens, so I cut it out. And you really want to wash these greens really nice a couple of times to remove the excess dirt or sand that comes with these greens. Cleanliness is by far very important when you are making greens, because you do not want to bite into sand. That's not a good feeling. So after you've washed it a few times, you want to add it to any pot. You could cook this all day with some ham hock or smoked turkey wings, but I'm actually making this with some saltfish. So I washed it, added to a pressure cooker, and I put it on the stove top for 5 minutes in the pressure cooker to really tenderize the greens. I did not want to spend a lot of time cooking them, so this is by far the easiest thing to do. Just add a little bit of salt to taste and put it on the pressure cooker. And after about 5 minutes, you remove it from the stove and have the pressure cooker really cool down before you attempt to open it. And this really traps all the heat, so even though it's not on top of the stovetop anymore, it's still cooking. Once you have removed the cover, you need to strain this to remove the excess water. So here guys, your eyes are not fooling you. For my collard greens, I will be adding 1 cup of coconut milk. This is really going to enhance the flavor of the dish. Okay, so for the greens, what I did, I got a skillet. I add 4 tablespoons of cooking oil, and then I started adding all of my nice seasonings. So the onions, the bell peppers, the thyme, the scallion, the Scotch bonnet pepper. And I really wanted to sweat down these seasoning so that all that delicious flavor would be incorporated into my main dish. So I cooked this, I sauteed this on top of the stove for about 5 minutes. And then everything starts to sweat down. I added the garlic to this dish to really kick it up a notch, I would say. And I stirred it, do that stirring with the hips as you're going with the hand, right? And really cook these nice veggies together. And that's really starting to, that's the base of the seasoning, and it's going to really intensify the flavor of the greens with the saltfish. So then I add some cracked black pepper, some salt, some garlic powder, as well as some onion powder to this, and the fresh garlic. And I just had it cook for a few more minutes, stirring everything together. And it was really starting to smell really good in this house. People were walking asking for a plate, and it wasn't even cooked yet. That's how delicious this house smelled. And then I added the saltfish, and I shredded it, removed all the bones, and I mixed and stirred everything together. And as I said earlier, I did soak the saltfish to remove the excess salt. One thing, when you're making a dish such as this, it's quite healthy, and you want to keep it healthy. You do not want to end up in the ER due to hypertension. So please, soak the salt out of the dry saltfish to ensure that the flavor is truly what you want it to be. And then I add the collard greens to this pot. Look at all that color. It looks so yummylicious. And I also add 1 cup of the coconut milk. I stirred everything together, and I tasted. It tastes delicious, but I wanted it to really cook thoroughly, so I covered it and I cooked it for 35 minutes. So while those greens were cooking, my husband was making the dough for this delicious fried dumplings. I must say he made the best fried dumplings ever. So he made the dough. We had the dough rest for 30 minutes, and then we started with the process of frying the dumplings. So first you want to get a skillet. You want to get it with some cooking oil and get it really nice and hot. And then you use a piece of the dough. You drop it in the pot. If it floats to the top, the oil is ready for frying. So then I add the fried dumplings. I made them into small balls. That's the shape I wanted on this specific day, and I spread them apart because the dough have some baking powder, so as they cook they will expand. So you want to give the dough some space to expand as they cook. And another thing, while you're making fried dumplings, you want to make sure the temperature is not too high and not too low. And by doing this, you'll have them nice and golden brown on the outside, but thoroughly cook on the inside. When you're making fried dumplings, you do not want it to look really nice and delicious, juicy on the outside, and once you bite into it, it's raw dough. That is definitely not good, and no one will be coming back to your house for fried dumplings. So you want it to cook inside and out, and cook thoroughly inside and out. Okay, so as you're cooking it, once they're finished, you want to get a pan together, and what you want to do is add some paper towel to that pan, so that as you transfer the dumplings to the pan, it will drain the oil. And you repeat the process. You'll end up with some delicious looking dumplings like these. They were really nice and soft, and it was just right up my alley, what I needed to go along with my greens. So guys, this is the end result. The collard green and saltfish was really delicious with these fried dumplings, and I added with a glass of juice.
Like and subscribe, and have a good day.